Welcome back to more Let's Play Silent Hill 2. Last time, we made our way all through the resort area, finding ourselves at the Silent Hill amusement park where a lot happened. We saved Sybil from a demon, confronted Alessa with the Floros, and then Gillespie showed up, showing us that, well, she's her mother. And in some way, shape, or form, Alessa and Cheryl are related. How? We don't know. But after that confrontation, we woke up and found ourselves here with Lisa at Alchemelia Hospital. Something happened in the basement. Now we're chasing after Lisa. So for being in the middle of nowhere, we've got a lot of places to be going.
I'm being summoned. What happened in this town? What could be making things like this? I have a feeling if I take the elevator down, I'll find it. Cheryl.
And so, welcome to the final area of Silent Hill. While it looks familiar, like Alchemelia Hospital, this is anywhere but. Nowhere is going to be an amalgamation of many areas you've been to. Namely, obviously, the hospital, but other places like the school, too. Here's that bird cage that we saw the first time. It's still locked, though. Now, as you can imagine, there's going to be a lot of nasty things here. So get ready for quick ambushes and for dangerous enemies. Now, luckily in the actual hospital segments, you'll be fighting the nurses, but don't be too surprised if you end up in Midwich and have to fight some of those children. There's going to be a lot of nasty things here, so be prepared. Now, luckily, we have 7 health drinks, 12 med kits, 2 ampules, plenty of handgun ammo, plenty of shotgun ammo, and lots of rifle ammo. So we should be more than readily prepared. But still, be on your guard. This place doesn't pull punches. What is this? Some sort of pipe? Yeah, there's a key in the faucet. But I can't get it out no matter how much I pull. Alright, 2 puzzles back to back. Good to know. Something to keep our eye out for. Now, I will also warn you, most of the time enemies are going to respawn constantly. So keep that in mind. It's locked. The word Phaleg is carved on the door. It also has that accompanying symbol. Which, that's one thing I'm going to note right now. I'm not great at saying the names of these things. So, it might be pronounced one way, kind of like Samael, and I'm probably not going to get it right. So, my apologies. And in here, you have the antique store? Old clock. There's a square hole in the center of the clock. The hands of the clock, it's a key. I can't get to it because of the glass cover. So, square hole in the clock, alright? And if you note, there's, well, a med kit, and back here, some shotgun shells. We absolutely will take those. We also have our handy dandy notepad to save here. Give it a nice save and confirm that yes, we are in fact nowhere. One of the more difficult things about this segment, too, is you never get a map for here. There's no figuring out where you're at. So you better hope you have a darn good memory. And if not, you're going to be wandering around a lot. It doesn't help that there's also a ton of locked doors. But the place is fairly linear, all things considered. Which seems a little weird because it is a big maze of everywhere you've been. But you'll see what I mean. Most of these doors are locked with specific names and keys. The word Ophiel is carved on the door. So you know until you get that item, or that key, you can't go that way. The word Haggith is carved on the door. And so, it doesn't leave you a lot of options and ways to go. Now, lucky for us, or maybe unlucky depending on your perspective, the basement was where we needed to go anyway. And wouldn't you know, here we find ourselves back in a Midwich classroom, but with only one desk. Go home. Thief. Drop dead. A lot of nasty words. Now, if you haven't really pieced it together, this can be assumed to be Alessa's desk, and we just saw a young, what looked to be Alessa, run through the hallway. If you haven't realized, all of these places mean something to her. She also kind of shot us with magic, and then we used a magic object to fight her. So it should be fairly obvious that all of this has something to do with her. But what? Well, we're still figuring out. Here, though, we have a screwdriver and a pair of pliers. Doesn't look like there's anything else in the room. So, at the very least, nothing vicious that wants to maul us. So let's take a look. Screwdriver. Tool for screws. Rusted, but usable. Tool to use on metal and wires. Rusted, but usable. Well, might be a bit rusty, but at least they get the job done. So yeah, this is a bit creepy, if nothing else. At the very least, it's not dangerous. Yet. So let's go try those pliers on that faucet, shall we? Now, luckily, right now, the game's going to cut you a break. It's not going to respawn all the enemies constantly, but don't be surprised if it does. And if it might replace them with some of the nastier things we've seen. That'll usually happen a little later in here, but still, be on your guard. Otherwise, let's try the pliers, shall we? Bingo. There is a key of Ophiel. Take it. I almost wonder if it's pronounced Ophiel, but I feel like Ophiel is how you'd say that. At least going off of Samael. Still, I really don't know. I try my best to pronounce things, but I'm not always right. So I believe that one was Phaleg. So this is Ophiel, I believe? Yes. Alright. Any baddies? Doesn't look like it. But if you remember, this slate, this was here before. Which, seeing as the game doesn't want to read it, this was the Grim Reaper's list with those 5 names we saw earlier. There's also this here. The whole alphabet. Right. Now, you could try to look at this and discern, like, oh, do I just type it in order? Like, oh, Lydia Findley, Trevor. No, 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 no. There is a solution to this. And it's fairly simple. Down the hall, if you remember, there was a blank slate in the original Alchemelia. But here, this now has writing. Names engraved on a lithograph, the Grim Reaper's list. Yes, the head count is set, young and old lined up in order of age. That is your hint. Then the pathway opens, awaiting them, the frenzied uproar, the feast of death. Now, while that hint is very vague, it's not a bad hint at all, because it's actually fairly straightforward once you stop and don't overcomplicate it. If we look at the list, there are 5 names. They all have a first and last name, some have a middle initial. The first thing you want to do is line them up in order of age. So Albert Lords is first, followed then by Lydia Findlay, Edward C. Briggs, then Roberta T. Morgan, and Trevor F. White. If you notice, and you may not because it's a little hard to visualize, the first 5 letters of each of the names spell something out. Alert. That is your key and what you're going to be typing in. Now, the first time I did this puzzle, I got a pen and paper, or maybe it was actually, I think it was a Excel Word document or something like that I ended up using, or a spreadsheet. And I ended up writing all the names out, or typing them in, and lining them up and moving them around, seeing if they spelled anything. But no, really, it's just take the first initial of each name, and that's what you get, so long as they're lined up in order of youngest to oldest, as it gave you the hint. It's fairly simple, though I can see it getting very complicated very easily. And so, A, L, E, R, T. And the first time I played this, I almost thought that you might have to enter it like, oh, AL, and then LF, and then so on and so forth. And I tried that, and it didn't work. So then I just tried the first letters of each name, and it worked right away. Now let's try going through here. Seems like a fairly normal storage room, which is good. I'd much rather this than any nasties. And in here, oh, looks like the morgue. Nothing great, but we do have this. There is an Amulet of Solomon. We will take that, because it is necessary to progress. Let's give this a once-over, because this is evidently something very different. The Amulet of Solomon. The amulet is a star-shaped object with 6 corners named after the ancient magician. Interesting. So as you can see, we're getting into a lot of magic stuff. And, well, you saw Alessa and the Floros and all that, so.
Harry,
Lisa, what's the matter with you?
I get it now. Why I'm still alive even though everyone else is dead. I'm not the only one who's still walking around. I'm the same as them. I just hadn't noticed it before.
Lisa.
Stay by me, Harry. Please. I'm so scared. Help me. Save me from them. Please. Harry.
Oh man. This is one of those moments in the game that you really just feel bad. Throughout the whole thing, she had just seemed like a normal person who got caught up in something. And now here's the big reveal. She's been dead this whole time. More or less, probably sacrificed to whatever did all this. Poor girl, just not knowing. Fitting that you find her after consulting the Grim Reaper's list. But it's still no less messed up. It's one of the things that really just weighs on you when you play Silent Hill. I gotta say, this song is equally haunting. It's at least pleasant, but you know that there's that undertone of sorrow. That no matter what you did, there's just nothing you could have done. It gets to you. It's one of those things that just, it sticks with you. Still, it's time to keep moving forward, shall we? Most of the doors down here are locked, which simplifies things. And admittedly, I'm kind of dragging my feet to listen to the song and say goodbye to Lisa. But once you end up going into any door or transition, the song goes away. So if you want a moment to just collect yourself, listen to the music, hell, maybe even shed a tear for the poor girl, I wouldn't blame you. But we've got puzzles to solve. And ideally, we gotta go save Cheryl. So in here is one of my favorite puzzles in the game. When I first came in here, I had an inkling of what I was looking at. One that proved to be fairly correct. Looking here, we have two scales and a number 2. Fairly simple. 2 scales, the number 2. And over here, 2 fish and a 0. Uh-huh. And then here we have 1 crab, but a 10? And over here, what looks to be a ram of some kind, or maybe a sheep with a 4? And then here in the center, we have what looks to be some sort of bull. And here, 2 children. And then finally, the weirdest of all, a centaur? Now, for anyone who knows zodiac symbols, this becomes very readily apparent. Because all of these are symbols of the 12 zodiac. Here is Libra, the 2 scales. Hence, 2. There's 2 of them. But this one might throw you off. Pisces, the 2 fish. So you'd think, well, there's 2 of them. Why isn't there a 2 there? I believe it's because they form a literal 0, or because they have no real appendages. They're all just kind of one thing. Something like that. And then here, we have the sign for Cancer, the crab. And you could have reasoned that, there's 10 something, and then whatever, like say, there's 1 crab and he's making a 0, so 10. But what it actually is the appendages. He has 2 pincers and 8 legs for a total of 10. Realizing that, the puzzle becomes simple. The ram here, for Aries, has 4 legs, hence the 4. So on and so forth. The bull here has 4 legs, though the tail might trip you up and you might think 5. Here, we have 2 children, as in Gemini. They have 8 appendages between them, 2 arms each and 2 legs each. And then, of course, the funniest of them all, Sagittarius, the centaur. There are 4 legs with hooves, which is a little goofy, and then 2 arms, for a total of 6 appendages. And just like that, your puzzle's done. I gotta say, I love this puzzle. And the first time I did it, I ended up plotting out all of the different dates for every astrological sign in an Excel spreadsheet, kind of the same way I did with the names, just because I already was doing it. And I had figured that maybe the number was assigned to some sort of order, or maybe there was some hidden something to each of the images. But no, it was as simple as just count the appendages. It was a puzzle that I know some friends of mine very overcomplicated, and they were super excited to see how I handled it when I first played this game. And they were very disappointed because I figured it out within like 5 minutes, which more of that was writing down all the dates. So I love this puzzle, even if it might be a little frustrating to someone who doesn't know anything about zodiac signs. Still, the Stone of Time. Seems like a square object that relates to the clock. We absolutely will take it. Which, Stone of Time. Large stone with clock face design on pillar with astrology chart hanging from it. So yeah, I love the zodiac stuff, all the astrology things. I think it's super fun. Oh, hello. Well, seems she was a fan too. And you know, who can blame her? It's interesting reading into like star readings and stuff like that. I always thought it was a fascinating subject. Let's see, lock is jammed. Lock is jammed. So I guess the only thing for it... Oh, that was just a bad angle on my end. I deserve that one. You got me. But, I was gonna say, the only thing for it is just go back up. Because now, we have that stone. We can insert it into the clock here. So let's do just that. Oh, we can't use it here? Come on, Harry. It wasn't close enough. There we go. Oh. That looked painful. Still, the Key of Haggath is here. We will take that. I'd also recommend giving yourself a little save because, frankly, we just went through a lot of puzzles and a lot of cutscene. I'd rather not redo that if I happen to make mistakes. Well, hey there. Here, have a hammer on the house. It's also kind of messed up realizing that these aren't just monsters. These are real people who did work here and got stuck here the same as Lisa. We could have just as easily as been fighting her this whole time as them. Still, Key of Haggath. Let's see what lies beyond. A nurse? Hello, nurse? Ooh, wow. 3 whole hits? Been working out, huh? Look, I know it's a little insensitive, but I'm trying to lighten the mood a little. Looks like the elevator works. So from here, let's go to the 2nd floor. Keep it simple. Alright, simple enough. Easy goes. Ooh, okay. Let's see, can we go in? Nope, lock is jammed. Alright, fair enough. How about you two ladies come and get some hammer, shall ya? There you go. I'd really rather not have to deal with you later. And although I say later, The game probably will just respawn them once we come back here. So dealing with them now is really just sanctity of mind for looking around rather than actually, you know, dealing with them permanently, because you really can't. Still, much easier to think without all that static. So let's go down the line, shall we? This door is jammed. This door is jammed. Ooh, we got a winner. The jewelry shop? So yeah. And here we find the Crest of Mercury, another magic-related item, and some rifle shells. I guess the Crest of Mercury, snake in the symbol of Mercury, signifies alchemy. So we have magic, alchemy. You can only imagine the other things we're gonna find. So let's look here. Ooh, there is a ring of contract. We will take that. And I guess, what does it say? Ring of contract. Rustic, hefty-looking ring of unknown material. Interesting. Now, luckily, the lock is jammed, so we can't just take off. But I'd, well, rather not get stuck on a pillar, but rather not stick around here because this music is piercing. And it really didn't stop much, did it? That door's jammed. This door is jammed. Ooh, this one's open. Well, hey, nurse. How's it going? Hammers to the head for you? Yeah, again, real sorry about your situation. I'm sure you were nice when you were alive and not stuck in a demon hellscape. Ugh. And look, I don't like thinking about it either, but still. Well, well, well. Come on now, ladies, don't be shy. Harry's got this big ol' hammer for you. Here we go. Quick strikes will prevail. Here we go. It looks to seem fairly consistent that the green ones are a little tankier than the blue ones. Guess it follows Zelda rules. Ooh. And here, we have some handgun ammo. Greatly appreciated. And what's this? A camera. Weird, but sure. Anything else here? No, doesn't look like it. Alright. What's this? A camera with flash. Huh. Well, we've not exactly seen anything we want to take pictures of. So, cool, I guess? Also, excuse me, ma'am. Come on. There you go. I'd rather just take care of you now so we don't have to worry about you later. I guess, too. Anything in here? Well, yes, there appears to be. Nothing immediately, but there's that plate we saw in the original Alchemelia. Steel plate screwed to the wall. Which now, we have a screwdriver. And wouldn't you know it, there's a key. Electricity is flowing to the key. I'll get shocked if I grab it now. So as you can imagine, we're going to need to cut the power and find our way back here. Without the elevator, that'll be a tricky task. Not impossible, but tricky. Because this place is a maze. Let's see, any other doors we can go into? Doesn't seem like it. No, okay. Did I try this one? No, I did not. But it's now unlocked. Which if we come out, it leads us here, to the main room. This is going to be pivotal in figuring out where to go. Let's see. Mercury, Solomon, ring, and a camera. Not exactly the most straightforward items, no? But still, we know that we can go up another floor. Here's where we found the ammo and the camera. I think it's time we start heading up. Oh, and we have this whole room, too. I think we checked everything here. Lock is jammed. Lock is jammed. Right, this is the jewelry store. Alright, very good. Just making sure we're treading all the ground we can. So yeah, it looks like everything here is obtained, barring that key. So we know we need to make it back to the second room from the second floor from the first room in order to get that key. So let's go to the third floor now. Let's see what we can find. Huh? Well, this is different. Looks like an altar. Wonder what they worship. It looks like the one we found the hatchet with. The light illuminating the darkness. Huh. The light to the future. Now, if you didn't read the camera, you wouldn't realize that it has flash. With flash photography, we can expose the light of the future, which is a bunch of symbols. The same is also true over here. The light illuminating the darkness. And so now it's as simple as putting these symbols in on these keypads. So let's see, we have a plus, all but the bottom of a square, and then a triangle. So it's fairly simple. Simply draw the symbols. It's not that bad, and especially now that we have things like modern cell phones, it should be fairly easy to just take a picture and do it that way if you really can't be bothered to remember. What's through door number 1? A health drink. Okay, I will take a health drink. It doesn't look like there's really anything else here, but if you remember, this is where we found that smashed vial. There's nothing here now, but it's at least a nice callback to it. Still, a free health drink is appreciated. Then here, we have an arrow, a backwards L, and then a triangle, but kind of flipped. So let's see. Backwards L. Flipped triangle. And the arrow. Which I believe you do have to do it like this. Yep. Now what's in door number 2? Anything? No? Oh. There is a birdcage key. We will take that. Because that will unlock the next thing we can do from the birdcage. So honestly, pretty good floor. At this point, let's head back down to the first floor. Let's go get that birdcage key. Make sure no one's hiding around here. Let's go unlock that cage, shall we? Hello, Mr. Birdcage. Let's see, birdcage key with engraved handle. What does it say? I guess you can't really see. Bit of a shame. Still, open her up and get the key of Phaleg. Very nice. And so, finally, the door that we probably seen first, is now available to us. Let's see what's inside, shall we? A whole lot of baddies. I'm gonna warn you, in that room, there are invisible enemies. If I were you, this is where I would start permanently using the shotgun. You can use the rifle, but I would recommend saving it and just letting the shotgun do the rest of your talking. Those enemies are also going to show up in other places too, so be careful. It's going to be darn hard to see anything from here on out, so use a very scrutinizing eye. What do we have here? The chain is missing a link. There's a dagger of Melchior. Let's not take that yet. And instead, let's use the Ring of Contract first to bind those chains, shall we? Perfect. Now let's take the dagger. The chain is fixed with the ring. There's a dagger of Melchior. Take it? Absolutely. Which, speaking of Melchior, the ancient dagger named after the Magi. So yeah, a magician, alchemy, and the Magi. There's a bit of a theme here. Now, should you not put that in there, I think you get mauled to death by something, which isn't fun. Yeah, see the shadow creatures? I would highly recommend just use the shotgun, because they're those stupid little kids from the elementary, and they do a lot of damage. Alright, you know what? Let's just leave. I think we've done enough for today. Use a health drink. Check our stock. Take a breath. And, of course, let's take a save, shall we? Ooh, this is our reception save. Don't save over that. Which, to be fair, with all these nowheres, it's going to be hard to keep track of it, but that's okay. However, next time we play Silent Hill, we'll see just what else remains through the door of Phaleg and just where we're going here. As always, I'm Bread. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.